They said I wouldn't make it, they laughed at my dream. Every move I made felt like swimming upstream. But yesterday I met a fan, eyes full of belief. In their gaze I saw the end to my grief.
Doubt didn't win, trust began. Looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heart beats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I saw myself alive. I put in all the hours, climbed out from the dirt. They dissed and dismissed, said I'd always get hurt. Met a fan so loyal, reflections don't lie. My biggest supporter is just me in my mind.
Through the noise and shadows I held my ground. Bumps, bruises, broken, no comfort found. But that fan smile turned my world around. Now I'm rising sky high above the sound.
Doubt didn't win and trust I began. When I looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heart beats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game. Cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game. Cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.
Give me a second. Give me a second. There's some extra audio playing in the background. Let me go and take care of that. I will be right back. I don't know what's going on over here. Hold on. Muted. All right. It's going to be one of those nights. It is going to be one of those nights. How is everyone doing today? I am Techo Trough. We are engineered to win, regardless of all of the technical issues. It's been a very, very long day. But we don't miss. We don't miss. We are here. We are ready to go. How has your week been going so far? We're in day 2 of the week, right? But today is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. I said it yesterday. The year is over. The year is over. If you have not accomplished your New Year's resolutions, you might as well kick them to next year because you're not getting them done, right? Once we hit March 1st on Saturday, when the Fallen Down song is released as a single in all major streaming platforms, the year is over, right? The year is over. So you need to get it together before it's too late, right? You have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You have 3 days. You have 3 days to get your life together, right? But we're here for Tech Q&A. We are here for Tech Q&A. How are you guys doing? Are you excited? Are you excited about our show tonight? I always have so much fun on these shows. So we have a lot of great questions. I have hopefully great answers, but we're going to get into it. So the way I'm going to start the show, I'm going to start off with our agenda really quick, and then we're going to get into our questions for the night. All right. So first and foremost, I just want to say a big thank you to all of the new subscribers to the channel. You guys are helping us grow so fast. But I would be remiss if I do not always acknowledge those who have been with me for a very, very, very long time. I truly appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
You guys are the lifeblood of this channel. So thank you so much for all that you do, all your support. Whether you watch in the clouds, whether you are active and present on the stream, whether you're commenting in the chat, whether you are quiet and you just say hi, it doesn't matter. I appreciate every single last one of you. Those who leave me comments, those who reach out to me, all of that. As long as you are here and I'm able to add value into your life, that is the only thing that matters to me, is that I am helping you to be just a little bit more closer to where you want to be, a little bit more successful. That is my goal. All right. So I just wanted to get that away because I really appreciate you. Okay. Next up, I just got to give a big shout out to the Patreon members, right? To the Tech Coach Ralph community, my tech barbarians, my tech missionaries, my tech barbarians, my tech prodigy, and my technical explorers. Those Patreon members who I get to work with one-on-one, whether it is one-on-one coaching or we are in the Discord collaborating together, the new Team Tech Coach Ralph Discord, where we are having office hours. I have one of my tech barbarians who is going to be hosting we're starting a new project on our coaching group, right? And we're going to be building an application. They are going to be gathering data from the stakeholders, which are the Patreon members. And we're going to be having a meeting in the Discord where they're going to be gathering data, so that it's pretty much market research about, interview process, stuff like that. So we're doing a lot of work. We have groups that are studying Python. We're learning it together. I'm going to be showing some crazy stuff that I did yesterday, how I did it, all of that good stuff, all right? A lot of stuff is happening in the Team Tech Coach Ralph Patreon. So the only way you can get in there is if you have a Patreon membership. That's how you're going to get, and then you link your Discord to your Patreon account. You will get teleported right into the Discord and you can join the fun. Look, I've been talking to my tech barbarians. I am pushing them to do a lot of good things where it's going to keep them accountable. It's going to keep them consistent, but it's also going to add value to every last one of you. So if you're interested in leveling up, if you want to level up where we actually do things that are beneficial to you, then go ahead and join the Team Tech Coach Ralph Patreon. That is techcoachralph.dev, and we can run it up together. All right. So real quick, housekeeping. We have tomorrow morning, we're going to be going live with our large language model course. We are working on, so we started implementing Google Gemini yesterday. We're going to continue with that. We did Anthropic last week. We already have OpenAI from the beginning. And then we're going to see if there's any others, but we are implementing, we're using these large language models so that we can build out my content creation AI assistant, where it helps me generate my keywords, my description, my title, and soon it's going to help me generate my my thumbnails as well. All right. So I'm working on a lot of things happening. So you definitely want to tune in as we are learning this large language model AI stuff. Right. Thursday, we're going to be going live on ethical hacking. We should be getting to scanning on Thursday. All right. I found out why my Kali Linux went crazy and went berserk last week is because I ran out of disk space on that virtual machine. I have fixed that, all that good stuff. So we are good to go. Other announcements. Tomorrow, we're going to be having our software explorations, concept and overviews. We're going to be talking about frontier large language models. Those are the big large language models, why they're important, all that good stuff. So you definitely want to tune into that. All right. That is what we have upcoming for the next couple of days, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. And we have and then we have Thursday night for ethical hacking. Okay. All of that good stuff. Anything else to announce? Couple of things, right? So, if you haven't done so already, I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. Oh, it's actually in the chat by Nightbot. The traumatic brain injury questionnaire / assessment. If you have not taken that already, please do me a big favor. It'll be circulating throughout the chat, but go ahead and fill it out. My best friend Mitch said that it takes about 3 to 5 minutes to fill out, where it's just asking you how much you know about traumatic brain injury. Do you know anybody that's ever suffered from one? Things like that. because we're trying to gather data. My cousin, who is gathering this data, she suffered a traumatic brain injury last year in a biking accident. She is recovering, but she still has some way to go. But she is a mathematician and a system engineer, and she wanted to help spread the information of like knowledge about it, because a lot of people don't know about it. So she's collecting data to see what's the best way to share that information. So if you haven't done so already, do me a big favor. Go ahead and fill out the questionnaire, all right? And lastly, before we get started, did you guys check out the Tech Music channel today? There was some crazy foolishness happening over on the Tech Music channel, Muzik, right? Where I saw this crazy videos and artists and stuff like that. And guess what? I heard it's about to get crazier. I heard it's about to turn up. It's gonna get crazy over there. So I would highly recommend that channel. Starts streaming at 4 a.m. with David Goggins to get your mind right. And then at 1 p.m., this is all Eastern time, at 1 p.m. Eastern time, it starts to get into some work, like some music to help you concentrate on work, and it is just jamming out. And there's a bunch of different artists and musicians and stuff like that. It's crazy. It is crazy. You got to check it out for yourself. It is actually going on live still right now. It's going on live right now. It is going to finish around 3 o'clock in the morning, so that the David Goggins starts at 4 all the way to like noon, and then at 1 p.m. This playlist comes on, and all this craziness happening. I highly recommend that you go check it out. It is so much fun. You know what? Roxy, should I show a little preview of it? Should I show a little preview of what I'm talking about? You let me know, Roxy. Let me know as I get through this. But highly recommend that you check it out. All right. Let me see. Let me see what's going on over here. Roxy says yes. Okay, so Roxy says yes. All right. So let me see if I can pull this up. Give me a second here. You guys better thank her, Roxy. Let's see if I can go to here, and we go to, let's pull it up real quick before we get started. Let's go with, and I will have to share some sound. Let's see what I can do here. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to share this real quick. Just for a second, I'm going to share this, and then I'm going to, because you're going to have to go over there for yourself, right? But I just want to share this real quick, right? So you guys thank Roxy for this. Let me make sure. All right, we're good to go. Let's go over here. And I'll even put up some sound as well. Let's put up some sound. That's all you get. You got to go over. I'm just going to drop the link for that channel over there. You just got to go over there and see it for yourself. A lot of crazy things are happening over there, right? I'm just going to drop it right here, right? It's more things are coming on that channel. More great things are coming on that channel, right? Okay. But with that being said, we are going to get started with our show. Well, actually, I'm going to check the chat and then we're going to get started. All right, let's get to the chat. Let me see what we got going on in here. Let's see. Let me close this out. All right, so let me see. I already spoke to Jacqueline, but good evening, Jacqueline. How are you doing tonight? Hopefully you are doing amazing. Let's see. We got Roxy in the building. Rock the Scrubs. Roxy says, good evening, TCR, Jacqueline, and everyone. Good evening to you as well. The one, the only Roxy. We have my guy, Me Mysify, in the building. What's up, Me Mysify? How are you doing? Hopefully everything is going well with you up there in Michigan. I'm just saying. Hopefully, I heard it's getting a little bit warmer. It's in the 40s, so you know that is a good thing to hear. I'm happy for you guys up there. Let's see. And Roxy says, "What a tease." I'm just saying. You gotta go subscribe to that channel and enjoy the fun. All right. And Jacqueline says that she is great. Exactly what I wanted to hear. That is awesome. Roxy says it's in the 50s. It is in the 50s now. Wow. It's getting. You guys, are you guys in shorts and tank tops already? Are you guys in shorts and tank tops already over there in Michigan? Because you guys are in the 50s. You guys are in the 50s. For me, 50 is cold, but for you guys, it is like summer already. All right. So it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So let's get ready to let's get started. Let's get into our questions for tonight because time is limited. Time is unlimited. You know, you remember the Metro PCS commercials where it says, I have unlimited. You mean limited? Limited? All right. Time is unlimited tonight. All right. So I got things to do. Today's been crazy. Today has been super, super crazy, but we are working. We are pushing forward. All right. So with that being said, let's get to our questions. If you want, you know what? I almost forgot. Let me turn on the call-in link. I almost forgot to turn on the call-in link. Hold on. Let me turn it on right now. That always gets me, the call-in. All right. Call-in link is open. If you want to call in, the link is in the description as well as pinned at the top of the chat. You don't have to be on camera. We can have a conversation, all of that good stuff. But if you want to ask questions in the chat, you can do that as well. But the way the format's going to go is I'm going to read a question. We're going to allocate 5 minutes to that question. And then, so we're going to do 2 questions, chat. Leave me any comments or feedback in the chat as well with what your thoughts are. But we're going to do 2 questions, chat. If I get a question in the chat, I will prioritize that question. If somebody calls in, then they get prioritized. If someone sends a super chat, they get the ultimate prioritization, right? Just like a backlog, just like a sprint backlog, where we prioritize the level of importance. The super chats get the top importance. People who call in, they are close to super chats, but super chat because they're paying to get more importance, right? But then we have people who call in, then we got questions from the chat, and then we have the questions that I have sourced as well, okay? So that is everything. Let me get a sip of water before we get started, okay? All right, now I'm ready to get started. Like I said, the call-in link is pinned to the top of the chat. It'll be circulating throughout the night. Actually, no, it will not be circulating throughout the night, but I can push it through. But with that being said, let's go. Let's get started. Let's go over here, and we're going to start our first question.
Another one.
Should I go? Should I stay? What should I do? Right? Where's my, hold on. Make sure this is, there we go. All right. So what should I do? Let's find out what the whole question is. Okay. So we have, let me see over here. All right. So this question says career change or wait for being a test lead. All right. It says, I have, this is my way. Hold on. Things are in my way. All right. It says, oh, I know why. Hold on. All right. There we go. I'm telling you, I'm all messed up tonight. I am all messed up. All right. So this question says, officially, I have manual software testing experience of 6 years, currently doing automation testing last 6 months. Shout out to you for doing that. I think I am not getting paid enough for the role that I am performing. To get paid well, I am thinking to switch to the career to business analyst, product owner, which might get me roles that pay more in the future. Another option I see is to wait for promotion to get the test lead, which again would increase my chances to get a pay raise. Has anyone switched to a BA role? How is the market for it? All right, so that's a great question. Let me start our timer for that question. So See, that is a tough question because you are basing the career, like you're basing the decision for what you want to do on one factor alone. And that is not the best way to make a decision based on one single factor, because you could go and you can become a product owner, a business analyst, and you might get paid a little bit more, but you might also be absolutely miserable and then quit after 6 months. And now you have no job. You have no job because you know what? You might make an emotional, because right now it's kind of like almost an emotional decision. It's based on the amount of money that you would make, but it is kind of an emotional decision, right? Because you're like, well, because I'm not getting paid, I don't feel like I'm getting paid enough. All right. So should I just become a business analyst, a product owner, because I think that they pay more? Well, here's the deal. I would say a product owner does get paid more. A business analyst maybe a little bit more than a QA, definitely than a manual QA tester, right? I mean, to be frank, right? To be frank, and you can be Susan, right? Just about all roles get paid more than a manual QA tester. Maybe not like a tech support type person, but pretty much almost every role gets paid more than a manual QA tester, right? But that is the stepping stone. That is a building block to a long-term career. You did say you've been doing automation for 6 months, so that congratulations to that. It is not enough time to get a super duper big pay raise. You are still learning. You're probably still, getting your feet wet in it. You're probably not that familiar with page object models and all that good stuff, right? So I would say that before you decide whether you're going to switch careers to business analyst or product owner, you need to see what exactly do they do, right? Because business analysts, they get very well versed with the business side of things, where they're like doing, they're analyzing like, okay, what is going to be the user experience, what's going to be the cost to the company, all that stuff, right? The product owner has to deal with the stakeholders and with the developing of the actual product. So now the product that is being built is on you, and you have to deal with the software developers in order so that they can actually execute on the vision that you have for the product that you have gotten from the stakeholders, right? So the way that you are approaching it, it might like you might end up regretting that decision because you're not putting in the full thought into what you want to. You're just saying, okay, well, I want more money. I want more money. I want more money. Which, guess what? I want more money too. But how long will that money last me if I end up in a position that I suck at and that I hate, right? And so that's a terrible combination, because you might suck at it, but you love it, which you're gonna lose it anyways. But you might also hate it, but you're great at it, right? Which you're gonna end up not wanting to do it anyways. So what I would say is that you need to do more research into that, right? Now, as far as waiting for a promotion, you might end up waiting a long time. 6 years of manual QA and 6 months of automation testing. You might not really get a test lead that quickly. It would increase your pay raise, but it might not be that quickly. Another option is for you to look externally. Are there any other companies that are hiring that you might be able to get a test lead position at? Here's a question, right? Here's what you need to do. You, on a weekly basis, you need to write down 5 things that you've accomplished in the past week, right? I know there's a lot of crazy outrage going on, they're like this.
How dare you?
How dare you ask me to say what I've accomplished in the past week? 5 things that I've accomplished. Look, I'm not going to get into it too much today, right? But I've been doing that for the past 20 years, saying what are my accomplishments and having to prove my keep, right? It's a part of life. It is part of life, right? We'll talk about that more on Thursday. But I would say that I know people who have switched to a BA role, and I know people who are business analysts and they switch to QA as well. The question is, do you have the necessary skills for business analyst, for product owner, and does it fit your personality that you could successfully execute on that role. All of those are major factors that you don't just say, oh, because I want more money, I'm going to become a business analyst. You could end up being unemployed because you suck at being a business analyst. I don't know you per se. I'm just saying that those are the possibilities. You could suck at being a product owner. Do you have the necessary training to do those roles? So those are the things that I take into consideration when I am thinking about what type of career change. You see, me, when I delve in and out of these roles, that is because I'm like, DevOps for me is closely related and it's very technical. I love it. Ethical hacking, that's closely related and I love it. Large language models, I need it and I love it, right? So all those things I take into account, all right? But with that being said, I'm going to wrap that question up real quick. And we're going to roll right into our next question and then we will check the chat. Next question, best way to get into JavaScript. What? Yes, I said into JavaScript. All right. So this says, for a bit of context, I've been doing HTML and CSS as part of my computer subject in school. While I'm not sure, I'm at the top of the class since my teacher is often impressed at my works and sometimes even presents it to the class. But to be fair, the only way I've made my output stand out was hover pseudo selector. What would be the best way to dive into JavaScript? Okay, so that is a great question. Let's start a timer on this one, all right? So for me, I think that the best way to dive into JavaScript is primarily take a web development course, right? I normally recommend, I'll be honest, right? I am a fan of Angela Yu. So I normally recommend her courses, right, at Brewery. She is on Udemy. I always say wait till they go on sale. I took her, I think it's probably named right now 2024 or 2025 full web development, but I took that course full. I think it was like full stack development, right? But it introduced you to well, I already knew HTML, I already knew CSS, I knew some JavaScript, but I wasn't that well versed in it. And I went through that course, and it teaches you everything from HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, Flexbox. It gets into the bare bones of JavaScript, into Node, into Mongo, into Mongo, Mongoose, security type stuff, authentication, a bunch of stuff, right? It is a great course. I really enjoyed that course. And it's funny that I took that course maybe like 3 years ago, and it's just recently that I went back to React. Oh yeah, it teaches you React as well. I went back to React, building a bunch of web applications, integrating AI into it. But I would highly recommend like that course or a course that's similar to it, which is going to take you through the whole blueprint and breakdown of all of the different components. Because JavaScript, it'll kind of be useless to you without the rest of the knowledge of web development, because JavaScript is part of web development, right? It is a client side scripting language where you will write your code and it gets executed on the browser. Now through Node and stuff like that, they have server side scripting as well, but that's more advanced. And I think that you equally need the whole package in order to be successful at JavaScript. I know you mentioned that you are in computer school. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if this is like college or if this is like high school. But for me, I think that the earlier you start getting into the coding language, the more beneficial it will be to you, right? So if you're in high school, like, I don't know, 9th grade, and you can start learning Python, you can start learning web development, all that stuff, it just puts you ahead of the game. It puts you ahead of the game while your friends are up at 2 o'clock in the morning playing that video game. You should be up at 2 o'clock in the morning writing out your like learning HTML, building a website, building your portfolio, and then you're offering and then you're like, okay, well, while they're playing games, I'm going to be creating the games, right? And that way you can start having the mindset to run it up as a youth. That's what I'm always looking for. I'm like, I want us to start to get away from the mindset of being the video game player and to be the video game builder. Because if not, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't have time. But then, right? You see on Discord, it says, oh, playing Call of Duty and doing this. No, I thought you didn't have any time. What gives? So that's why I say you gotta get the younger generation the right mindset early, because if not, then they're going to be just as dusty as we are at our old age. All right. And we cannot have that happening. So we need to instill the right values into the youth now. You guys remember Alexis, her daughters were heavy into the robotics, like going to competitions, stuff like that. We got it and even at an older age, right? I think it's a great opportunity to get into that type of stuff, learn robotics, learn coding, learn AI. I always say, go into Python, no matter how old you are, go learn Python, right? Go learn Python. Whether you're a nurse, whether you are a truck driver, whether you are a who knows what, right? Whether you are a federal employee, right? Go learn Python. Go get some additional skills. It's not necessarily that you have to use it, but at least you have the mindset. Because for me, writing code, it just continues to expand my mind and see different possibilities. Where then I'm like, oh, how about if we do this? How about we do that? It improves your critical thinking skills, right? So that's why I'm always encouraging people, like, go learn something that is going to challenge you. Go do something hard, right? Go do something hard, and you're gonna see a lot of benefit comes from that. Okay. But yeah, so I mean that's basically it. I would say go take a course. I recommend Angela Yu, but there are plenty of courses on Udemy. You can even go to YouTube University, learn from there. I always find it a little bit harder to learn from YouTube, especially if they don't have a structured course and stuff like that. But it's possible, it's possible. So that's my recommendation. Okay. But hopefully that helps. With that being said, I'm going to wrap that question up. We're going to get to the chat. Okay. All right, let me see what we got going on in the chat. Let me see what friends we have in the building. So let's see. We have my bestie Mitch in the building. What's up, Mitch? He says it just gets to a point where he has to let the world know.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
We did. Yes, we did. Every single show, me and Mitch becomes best friends, all right? And then after the show, we go our separate ways, and then the next show starts, and we become best friends again. It's like Groundhog's Day. And Mitch says, if business analysts get paid good, there are different levels to that. That is a fact. Business analysts do get paid good. But I have seen a lot of business analysts, they go between QA, and a lot of QA people go back to, like, it's just, I don't know. I think they're closely related. Business analysts are focused a little bit more on the business side, but they need to have a lot of UAT experience, user acceptance testing. And QA people, they have a lot of more of a technical background, where they're, they're getting involved in testing at earlier stages and stuff like that. All right. Mitch says, business analyst, product owner in a lot of companies are interchangeable. That is a good point. I haven't worked with many business analysts, but I have worked with a lot of product managers and product owners. Let's see. And Roxy, Rock the Scrubs, Roxy says, that's not funny. What's not funny? Roxy, if you want to call in, Roxy, we have this conversation. You can call in and have this conversation. But what's not funny? What is not funny? I'm not gonna talk about this today, right? But I just have to say, I found it very, very humorous the way that all the federal employees were running around like chicken with their head cut off because they had to put 5 bullet points of something that they did, right? I can come up with 5 bullet points of something that I accomplished within today. Like in the past day, I can come up with 5 bullet points of something that I accomplished. So if you guys are struggling for all my amazing, and I have a lot of I have a lot of friends who are federal employees, right? But if you guys are struggling to come up with 5 things that you accomplished in the past week, then you got to start accomplishing stuff. Welcome to the private sector. All right. Let me see what else we got. We got my guy AR Smitty in the building. What's up, AR Smitty? Hopefully you're having an amazing, amazing night. Roxy says, great advice. Thank you, Roxy. And AR Smitty says, go learn Python. Go learn Python. Go learn Python. It's gonna be like, it's gonna be helpful because it's gonna start putting you in the right mindset of writing code and the thing is, because I was talking to AR Smitty the other day, right? As you go into like this more into this tech stuff, you're gonna need to pick up a coding language, right? Because there aren't that many tech stuff that don't require coding anymore, and like unless you become like a product owner or some type of scrum master and stuff like that, the ones that are going to pay the bag, they're going to be like, you're going to have to do some type of coding. A lot of them have a foundation of Python. All right. So that's why I say, start off with Python. There's many other languages to learn, but start off with Python. All right. I think so that's the chat. Let's jump back into our questions. Remember though, do me a big favor. If you haven't done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications so you know every time we go live and drop new content as well. If you want to call into the show, the link is in the chat. It is pinned to the top of the description, to the top of the chat, and it is in the description. All right, all of that good stuff. Okay, but let's jump to our next question.
Another one.
I deleted my son's Xbox account. That's what the question says, right? That's what it says. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about this parent deleting their son's Xbox account? Let's read the question. It says, so my son played so many video games that it started to affect his grades. I deleted his Xbox account and now he hasn't spoken to me in over a week. Have I made things worse? So, before I give my take on this, right? I'm gonna share with you an answer that I read, right, from somebody. This person said, "You screwed up miserably.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Take it from a father of 5 boys." This is a father writing this. Keep in mind, this is a father writing this, right? "You took away the love of his life 100% when just restricting his Xbox use until after homework was completed and checked by you was more than sufficient. By doing this, you planted a seed of hatred in your son that he will carry for the rest of his life if you do not undo what you have done. Reactivate his Xbox account and give him 1 grade cycle to bring up his grades, or you will decide what the future action needs to take. Set limits though. He can only play on the Xbox after homework is completed and checked. Then delete his teachers and principal's Xbox account for not doing their jobs." All right, so here's my take on this right now. Let me share my take on this, right? I think that the dad of 5 is absolutely wrong. You gotta you gotta be kidding me here, right? You're telling me that, from this father of 5 is telling me that Xbox is the love of the kid's life? Are you? Xbox is the love of the kid's life? Give me a break. You better find some other love, all right? If you're, here's how I operate. Here is how I operate. Ask it from any of the people that I coach. Ask it from any of my friends. Ask my friends how annoying I am. But if you are not operating the way that you're, like, if you're not going above and beyond, right, then you're failing, right? And if you're not doing good in school, if you are failing in school, if your grades suck, then you get nothing. You get like, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If I delete the Xbox account, right, I wouldn't have to worry about him not speaking to me in over a week because I wouldn't speak to him in over a week because you are not producing. And I believe in production. You know what? I'm gonna implement this. I'm gonna implement this, right? I'm gonna have my son start writing 5 things that he accomplished in the last week. Every week, once he can write. All right. You guys let these kids do whatever that they want. And now you're like, oh, did I make things worse? No, you made things better. Guess what? Life is hard. Life is hard. And if this kid, probably a teenager, has this Xbox account doing whatever he wants, he sucks in school. And then it's like, did I make things worse? Well, you know what? Maybe, but maybe not. If you're not producing, you need to go get a job. And you got to go and take care of your own responsibilities because I am on a merit-based. I know a lot of my federal employees don't believe in merit, but I'm on a merit base. I'm like, look, you have to produce and I will not reward, but I will, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll accommodate, whatever the word is, right? But it's a, once you start getting older, right? Like I have to feed you when you're a kid, but once you get older and like, all right, you got to do your part. You got to do your part. That's how I see it. All right. I don't believe in this. They're going to resent you. Okay, fine. Resent me. Guess what? I don't care. You can resent me all you want, right? But I will not allow you to be a loser under my watch, right? I don't care who it is. There's been plenty of people. I said, you know what? You can go. I said plenty of people, you can go because I do not train people who do not put in the effort. Yeah, you know what? No Xbox, learn Python. Boom. That's what I'm going to do. I'm like, you know what? No Xbox. You go and learn Python. You go and learn web development. You go and build me. You know what? You're going to work for me. All right. If you want to eat, you're going to have to work. And then once you get your grades good, once you build this website, once you edit this video, whatever, then let's have a conversation. But if no, then no. You know what? You could have done better. Right? You just cut off the internet. Block their Xbox access to the internet. See, you guys are so nice. You're like, oh, father of 5, give me a break. Give me a break. A father, you took away the love of his life. And then it's like, just restrict his Xbox use until after homework. Nope. Remember I told you the story, right? That I had to change a video card, my first video card, so I could play NBA Live on this PC because my parents wouldn't give me a video game system, right? In hindsight, that was the best thing that they ever did because I would have been like, because once I was able to buy my own video game system, I would be up to like 3 o'clock in the morning playing video games. When I went to college, I was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning playing Madden. And then I would wake up, run to school, run to class, all that type of stuff, right? But then at 25, I was like, yeah, this sucks. Like, I'm not getting anything out of this, right? And then I started working. I started like, all right, let me build websites. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me not play video games. There was another story behind that, but that's for another day, right? But I think you did 100%. I think you're great. And I think the problem is you're asking the wrong question because they haven't spoken to you. Have you made things worse? No, I think you made things better. Got to toughen up. I remember last story. When my son was about like 5 days old, right? He was crying about something. That's all right. Look, you're not always going to get everything that you want in life, right? So you're going to have to toughen up. You're not always going to get everything that you want in life. So you're going to have to toughen up. So Xbox? Seriously? Xbox? Let them be hungry for a little bit. And then they're going to wisen up. And they're like, I'm sorry, mom or dad. I was being stupid. Nope. They're going to resent you. Let them resent. You can resent me all you want. I'm here for it. You can resent me all you want, But guess what? I would rather you resent me and be successful than love me and be a loser, right? That's all I got to say. That is all that I got to say about that, all right? Let's wrap that question up. And let's just jump to the next one real quick, and then we'll go to check the chat. We'll go to have a little break, check the chat. All right. The next one says senior title with junior skills. So it says anyone with senior development experience, senior dev years of experience, but junior dev level competence. It says I did the jump ship every 2 years from startup to startup route, and that's half the story. Most of the places I worked weren't exactly a paragon of engineering quality. Not to say the people weren't smart, but the code bases and practices were often sloppy. Sloppy code, not cool. I didn't receive any mentorship and often had to teach myself, and I don't know if I am a good teacher. Well, I would say the teaching yourself is probably not necessarily the best way, because how do you teach yourself what you don't know, right? Now, you can learn on your own by using different resources and tools, but teaching yourself, all right? It says, so a dozen years later in the industry, that's 12 years into the industry, and I don't really think I'm even really mid-level, though that's also partly, it seems there's no more entry-level positions. Exceptions are just so inflated for them, or expectations are so inflated for them. And I think my own personal deficiencies as a dev led me to work at environments that naturally matched my level. My current role is no different in presenting few opportunities to improve my technical chops. What's next? Upskilling by hitting the books and programming in my spare time? Sure. But career-wise, do I try to find a place that will accept me as a lower level dev and mentor me despite my supposed years of experience? Fake it till I make it and somehow transition to management or product management? I don't think this is imposter syndrome. I'm just yet another someone who went into the industry without any affinity for it, and I was able to bluff my way through the low interest rate years. My peers in school are staff engineers or engineering managers now. I guess I'll be in limbo until I can find some competence and confidence, or figure out what I really want to do and pivot. Shame that the industry is one big pair of golden handcuffs and my cost of living is, oh my God. All right, Ms. Freckles, I need your word. I need your help here. Commensurate with the compensation. All right, so a lot of words to say that you did not properly study throughout your career, but let's start a timer on this one, okay? So here's the deal. You're saying that all right. Companies are not required to give you any mentorship. They do that though. They do that as a benefit and a perk in order so that you can better perform for the company. It's harder for startups to do because they're startups. They don't really have all that resources and people and stuff like that. Now, here's the deal, right? There are countless resources available that will help you become a better developer. There are countless groups available that will help you become a better developer. So when you're like, oh, there was no mentorship and stuff like that, there was no mentorship because you didn't want to be mentorship, right? I have worked with so many different people in the past almost 2 years that I've been doing this and that I've been online, and the past 20 years that I've known people that I've helped people get into automation, get into QA, help them transition into IT as a whole. So many different things that's possible, but it all depends on the mindset, right? So I have a lot of mentors that never actually met me. They don't know that I exist, but guess what? They are still my mentors because I have their books. I watch their videos. I take heed to the things that they're saying, and I implement that into my own life, right? And when it comes to software development practices, it's my belief that you should spend at least 10 extra hours on your own time, not on the clock, on your own time, to practice and get better. So doing different coding challenges, you should be building your own applications, all that good stuff. But here's the problem, right? And this goes to what I was saying about the manual QA turned automation QA who doesn't get paid enough, but they're thinking about to get more money, go to business analyst or going to product management. If you do not care about the role that you're doing, then you're never going to have the desire or the passion to learn more about it and to be better. So you're always going to be mediocre. And that's not necessary. You do not have to be mediocre. All right? So I'm just saying. But it takes work. Many people, they'll say, "Oh, you should rest and you should you work your 40 hours and this and that." But when you work 40 hours only, right? You just clock in and clock out and stuff like that, then you're going to get 40-hour results. People get mad like, "Oh, why did this person get the promotion?" Well, because maybe they were getting better over the weekend. Just they were writing some extra code. Who knows what they were doing, right? But we always say, "Oh, they got promoted because of this reason and that reason," or maybe they just have unseen work that they do that shows that they work harder than you and that they care more than you. It could just be that, right? So, I've spoken to Mitch before where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm working this Saturday on this project, right?" And sometimes I don't know if it's for work or if it's for himself. I don't know what exactly it's for, but he's working sometimes on a Saturday, sometimes on a Sunday. Who knows, right? But he's working. I am always working on my own. Like you guys saw the sneak peek of tech music that I showed. That I was not expecting to do that. I wasn't expecting to do that. But I'm always working. Always. Whether I am streaming here, whether I'm on the clock at work, whether I'm at jiu-jitsu, whether I am coaching somebody, whatever it is, I am always working. I treat everything as work. And here's my last thing that I do, right? If for some reason I didn't quote unquote like something, I find a way to like it because I'm like, well, I end up saying, you know what? I like the compensation that comes with it. So therefore I like what I'm doing. I don't make these decisions based on my feelings, So if you are not where you want to be, if you're not good at thinking, at your coding and stuff like that, then it is your own doing. It's your own doing. You still have the opportunity to get better, or you can leave, right? You can leave. That's an option, right? So what I recommend is if you cannot provide 5 things that you accomplished last week, then maybe that field is not for you, and maybe you should check out the other industries like product management and stuff like that. But product management is very, very hard. I'll tell you that. It's hard because you have to pretty much be the guiding force of where the product is going, which is hard, right? So you could be the one to build it, or you can be the one who comes up with what needs to be built, which for me, I think it's a little bit harder, right? I think it's a little bit harder because what if it's a miss? So I am always looking at the opportunity to improve my technical skills as well as my thinking skills, all of that good stuff, all right? So let's wrap that question up. And we're going to go back to full screen. We're going to check the chat to see what these lovely, lovely people are talking about over here. Let's see here. Roxy says that the dad of 5 is correct. Difference of opinion. All right. Roxy is allowed to be wrong once per show. Okay, I'm just saying, just once. You can't be wrong again. You can't be wrong again, Roxy. All right, just one time. Says it is Ralph. The kid is hooked. Well, guess what? Are we supporting addictions now? are we supporting addictions? Are we? I don't think so. I don't think we're supporting addictions. Nope. Cut it off. Cut it off. DBDR says, yeah, deleting the account is only going to make him work harder to hide things from his parents. Well, guess what? He doesn't have to hide. He can go. He can go. Look, I will be monitoring. Look, I'll be monitoring everything. Oh, there's Xbox traffic happening? Who's paying for Xbox Live? Who's paying for it? They can go. You know what? Go live with the honor or something. I don't know. Go live with someone who's going to support your bad habits, okay? That's how I see it. Let's see. It says, as a kid, I got expelled from school in the 6th grade, so I wasn't allowed to do anything, no drawing, reading, TV. I was only allowed to use the old computer. Let's see if he it says that forced me to learn to code, and I ended up doing that as a career, so they lucked out. So you're saying that your parents ended up making the right move? Because look at you, you're a top premier developer now, right? So it looks like it all worked out in the end. Let's see. We have the one, the only Miss Freckles in the building. How are you doing, Miss Freckles? I don't know why, but Roxy never calls me lovely, so it's all good. I see how it is, right? I see how it is, right? You never call me Roxy. You never call me lovely, so I'm just saying. Let's see what else we got. Mr. Says the realest statement: I would rather you resent me than and be successful. Right? I had to end it well, Mr. I would rather you resent me and be successful then love me and see, you gotta put the other part. You gotta put the other part, right? Then love me and be a loser, right? I'm just saying. And Mrs. I'll lie for you before I lie to you. That's what, right?
Let's get it.
I hear you. It says, get your words together. All right, let's see what else we got. We got my guy, Rod Brown, in the building, the nourishing word himself. I mean, Rod Brown is not the nourishing word, but he provides the nourishing word. Shout out to Rod Brown. Go check out the nourishing word with Rod Brown. It is an amazing channel. He just released a video talking about Jeremiah 17:9, my favorite verse, and he killed it. He absolutely killed it. So shout out to my guy Rod Brown. It says, how about catch these hands mentor? That's a good one. That is a good one. And Roxy says, an extra 10 hours? Roxy, at minimum, extra 10 hours, right? One of my mentors, Robert C. Martin, Uncle Bob, he says it should be at least 20. So if you're working a 40-hour job, you should put in an additional 20 hours that you can get better. Because guess what? If you were to think about it like this, right? NBA players or any athlete, right? Outside of Allen Iverson, of course, right? But they show up for a 48-minute game, right? It takes about 2 hours, but it's a 48-minute game. But how often do they practice? Practice? We're talking about practice. Yes, we're talking about practice. They practice forever, unless you're Allen Iverson, of course, right? So an extra 10 hours, it's nothing. It is nothing. You can wake up an hour. You can start an hour before work, an hour after work. What I do, right? So 10 hours, that's child's play. That is child's play. Let's see. Mitch says, whoa. Let's see. What else we got? Says I'm not the Mitch either. No, not that Mitch. It's another Mitch. It's another Mitch, right? It's another Mitch. Let's see what else we got. Says, oh, my goodness. Thank you, Roxy. Roxy, you shouldn't have. Roxy, thank you so. That means the world to me. Aww. Thank you so. You shouldn't have, Roxy. You shouldn't have. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. And I'm going to read this one. Ms. Rucker says, that was a beautiful episode and right on time with the vid yesterday. It was an absolutely amazing episode. As always, shout out to Rod Brown. And Ms. Freckles says, I worked 55 hours last week. I'm trying to add more time for studying, but it's hard. It is hard. It is hard. But I'll tell you this, Ms. Freckles. Let me do some math real quick. Let me do some math for you real quick, Ms. Freckles. I know you will appreciate the math. Roxy will not appreciate the math. Roxy does not like my math. I'll just say this. She does not. She is not in favor of my math. But there's 24 hours in a day times 7 days in a week. That's 168 hours minus 55. So you have 113 hours to allocate to figure out what you're going to do with those 113 hours. You're going to split that between sleeping, eating, spending time with your daughter. But there's still some time. There is still some time in that 113 hours to figure it out. I know you've seen this, Ms. Freckles, on the Tech Music Morning playlist with David Goggins, when that mother asks him, what if you don't want to, what if you can't, you can't give up balance, right? What if you can't give up balance? And he said, well, while your kids are awake, you spend that time with them. While you're on the clock, you spend that time working. While if you're married, you spend that time with your husband when he's available, right? When he's home and stuff like that, right? But if you really want it, when they all go to sleep and they put themselves down, whatever, that's your time to run it up. That's your time to do whatever it is that you need to do, right? And I believe that wholeheartedly. You can ask my friends. You can ask my friends, right? I will be up, depending on what I need to do, 4:30, 5. And I might go to sleep. I might be falling asleep on the keyboard. I might forget to update a thumbnail, right? But I might go to sleep be falling asleep around 12:30 at midnight, trying to get one last thing done, depending on what my needs are, right? So sometimes you just got to put a little bit extra, just for a little bit longer, to accomplish what you want to accomplish, and then you celebrate. Then you celebrate success, all right? Don't celebrate prematurely, right? That's all I got. That's all I gotta say, all right? Let me see. Roxy says, oh boy. You know what, Roxy? You get one of these.
I was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
And I think Mitch is asking Miss Freckles if she's bragging or complaining. Not me this time. Says, the body snatcher still got Ralph. What? Who got? Miss Freckles says, I'm following David Goggins and I'm not stopping. And you know what, Miss Freckles? As long as you're in the race, right? I am right there with you. I told you that the other day. I am in your corner. I've got your back. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going. And sometimes you will need a little boost. And that's why you have an amazing team behind you, but you don't stop, right? You don't stop. You keep just a little bit every day. Sometimes you're gonna do a lot. Sometimes you're gonna do a little, but you don't stay stagnant. You don't move back. All right. DB Darrow says, David Goggins' life isn't for the faint of heart. You got this. Exactly right. And he'll get you to where you want to be. And then you figure it out from there, right? So, but it is not for the faint of heart. Trust me, it is not. But when you have a mission to accomplish, it is and that's why I created that playlist, right? That's why I created that playlist, because I will wake up to it and I will use it. Like I'll just use that for every single day, right? It's already scheduled for tomorrow, all right? So, all right, let's get to our next question for tonight. And by the way, if anybody wants to call in, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. I'm going to drop it again. I'm going to drop it again real quick in case anybody wants to call in. All right, so let's get to our next question, though. Let's go to here. And we're going to go here.
Another one.
How to handle perfect. Did you say perfect? Yes, I said perfect developers. So this question says, how to handle I don't need QA developers. It says, I've recently moved to a team with mostly senior developers who are not accustomed to having a dedicated QA and prefer to test their own code. I don't have issue with that. It is in my own benefit, and I know, and I would like them to deploy testable features on a test environment. Part of the so if you don't have any problem with that, then you have a problem, because you should definitely have an issue with developers wanting to test their own code, and that's it, right? That's a problem. Okay. Part of the problem is that they also want to take end-to-end tests from me, because according to them, it's in their definition of done. They already write unit tests and integration tests. Okay, from their perspective, my role in the process should be early on when features are designed in communication with the product owner. I don't disagree, but for that, they could hire a part-time QA. All right, stop. Don't advocate yourself out of a job. That's number one. Never, ever, ever advocate yourself out of a job, because guess what? Your 5 things that you accomplished last week have just turned into 2.5, and now you're advocating yourself into a part-time QA. All right, I'm just trying to help you out. Never advocate yourself out of a job. You better get your 5 points down, okay? 5 bullet points of what you accomplished last week, all right? It says, I can't spend the rest of my time only monitoring the existing test suites. I want to be friendly and flexible, but I also want to contribute to the whole process. All right, so that is it's a bad situation, but it's a great perspective. It's a great thing to bring up, okay? So let's put our timer, and I'll say this, right? Developers should never, ever, ever test their own code, and that's it, right? They should do dev testing to make sure that like they got that it's working, right? That it's working, but testing, like being the sole person, because you write the code, you're gonna have blind spots. You're definitely gonna have blind spots, and that is why it's important for you to have external testing. By external, I mean an unbiased person who is going to go through the application through your application to see what's happening. Now, what my recommendation is, the developers are right in one part, right? That you should be involved early and in communication with the product owner, but the part that they are wrong about is that you should also be collaborating with them. And based on the acceptance criteria, you should be in communication to see, okay, what are you guys implementing that's going to be covering this acceptance criteria? Are your unit tests covering all of these cases? And then you should write your test cases that you should be testing this, and you should also be writing your own automation tests. In addition to that, right? The way that they are describing the way to work is very, very, very unproductive. It is like you will not get any significant work done, right? And if I was a business owner, I'd be upset. I'd be annoyed. I'd be pissed, right? Because developers are supposed to be developing. QA is supposed to be testing. And QA should be responsible for all parts of the testing aspect outside of unit tests, because developers need to write unit tests to make sure that they have correct code coverage. But the QA person, you are, because let me ask you a question, right? If the application has a defect or a bug, who gets blamed for it? Is it going, and by blame I mean who's going to be accountable for it? Is it going to be you as a QA person, or is it going to be the developer who tested their own code? All right. What is it they say about lawyers who represent, or not lawyers, but defendants who represent themselves in court? Right? It's the same thing as a developer who solely tests their own code. It doesn't work that way. I think that, and this is coming from somebody who's been in QA since 2009, right? You need to integrate yourself in the process where you have to take the reins of testing and not be reliant on developers. And if they try to say, well, I'm going to test it, like, no, you're not going to test it. You better throw friendly and flexible out of the window, because number one, see, this is what friendly and flexible gets people, right? It gets them to the point where they're advocating themselves out of a job. people always say, oh, you gotta you gotta be compassionate. You gotta be compassionate. And then your compassion leads to endless destruction because you were dealing with demons. So you always have to advocate for yourself. But when you advocate for yourself, you gotta bring the value. And I think that QA brings so much value and additional perspective of and the part of the problem is a lot of times QA people, they just want to sit and wait for the developer to say, oh, this is done. And then, all right, let me go and test it. And they don't do anything ahead of time. I say that you have to be and for me, the way that I work, I am in every meeting or just about every meeting with the developers. And I'm asking questions to make them say, I didn't think about that. There's been plenty of times where we're like, okay, we should they're talking about, oh, doing this, doing that, doing that. And I said, well, what do you guys think about this? And oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, we should do that. And then we either save time or we make the product better. You have to be part of the team. You have to be part of the team. And you have to carry your own weight. And the way that you do that is you don't pass off work that belongs to you to somebody else. Simple as that. You claim your work and say, you know what? I'm going to do this because if you don't, when they come asking you, give me 5 bullet points of what you did last week, you're going to be like, what? What?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number 1, how dare you?
And I don't want you saying that. I do not want you to say that, okay? So, with that being said, we're gonna wrap that question up before we get to our next one. And let's just jump right into the next one while we're here. I found a way to do my job a lot faster. Let's see what this is about. All right, it says, I found a way to do. Did I do another one? I don't think I did. Let's start that one. Let's start that one over. Right? I think I missed that one. Right. So let's do that. Let's get to our next question.
Another one.
I found a way to do my job a lot faster. Okay. Let's see what this is about. Right. It says, I work. So I found a way to do my job exponentially, not just faster, exponentially faster. Should I tell my manager? Do we have any accountants out there, right? I work in the accounting sector as an accounts payable, and we essentially just got a new ERP system. We've actually had the system for over a year now, but management is older people, 50 plus years old. I am relatively younger and better with technology and this new software. In essence, a major part of my job is to receive payments from vendors for an incentives program, and then part of the payment is used to pay out to customers. I have to keep a monthly record of the invoices we paid out. Typically, it's a manual process which would take me about a week to a week and a half. Now, I found a way to cut this process down to about 5 minutes. Should I tell my manager? Should I just keep this to myself? That's an interesting question right there. So let me start the timer on this one, right? I have to think about this question because my first leaning and inclination is to, yes, you should tell your manager that you found a way to optimize the way that you guys work. And now what used to take you a week and a half takes you 5 minutes, because that's essentially what I do. I create automation tests, so that what would be pretty much impossible for us to test manually, we're able to test it every single day with it between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many tests that we have to run. Okay. Here's the question for you though. If you tell your manager this, right, do you have other work to do to keep you occupied? Because like I was saying earlier, you don't want to talk your way out of a job. This is an amazing accomplishment, an amazing feat that you're able to take a week and a half's worth of work and bring it down into 5 minutes. I would say that you should probably find a way to help Miss Freckles out so that she can reduce her 55 hours to like maybe about 40, 45 hours, and she can still have those 20 hours. So instead of having to allocate 113 hours, you can allocate 123 hours or 133 hours, right? So just helping out my friend, okay? But I would say that, so I would say that it depends on how busy you are, because here's the alternative, right? Which you did say that older people say they don't really know the system, but what if they ended up finding out on their own that you are you're doing the work within 5 minutes and you're doing nothing for the rest of the week, or B, they found on their own that they can do it within 5 minutes and they're like, oh, did you know this? And then now what are you gonna say? If they find out that it can be done within 5 minutes and they say, oh, I just found this out, what are you gonna say? And if you tell them, oh, that's what I've been doing, you put yourself in a worse position. It's possible that if you let them know that you have cut down the time within 5 minutes, but you're the only person who knows how to actually do it, then you might, which is a big might, you might get more money or a promotion, because guess what? You're saving a lot of money by doing that. It's a possibility. So to me, that's an accomplishment. But the question is, do you have something to replace that we can have time with? And if you don't, then my suggestion is you find something. You always, a lot of people, because they get something done, they think that, oh, I have free time to relax and lollygag. No, you're still on the clock. So you need to continue to, if you get your things done, right? Okay, well then go learn something. Go take a course, because the course that adds value to the company as well. So that's why it's like, you don't just, it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot because you're like, all right, well, now that, because you could be like, oh, now that I reduced how much time it takes, are they gonna get rid of me? That's a fair question, right? On the alternative though, if they found out that it's taking you 5 minutes and you didn't tell them, will they also get rid of you? So I don't know. I always err on the side of, look what I can do. And then based on that, it frees me up to do more stuff. When I built the content creation workflow assistant, right, which I use it every single day. I'm going to actually use it right after this show so that I can schedule my tomorrow's software explorations concept and overviews. We're going to be talking about frontier large language models. But it's like it's weird. Every time that I optimize my time, right, then the free time that I've gained, it's always taken up by doing something else, by doing more. Because I would have been spending a bunch of time getting the titles, the descriptions, the keywords, and going through that manual process. But then I figured that out, and now I'm like, all right, well, I guess we have some time to create these image to video, and create and put these songs, with electric violins. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't just sit and lollygag just because you found a way to become more efficient. You say, okay, what else can I tackle in the time that I have purchased back? When you become more efficient, you buy back time. Time is allegedly the only thing that you will never get back. However, what if you can buy it back by becoming more efficient and by finding ways to better multitask and use the resources that have been provided to you, right? So that is my thought behind that question. We're going to wrap that one up before we get to, and then we're going to go to chat before we get to the last two questions, okay? So let's wrap that question up. And we will go to full screen. What do you guys think? Do you guys disagree with me? Am I extreme on my takes? Do I lack balance? I I know some people who will advocate for balance while working 6 days in a row. What? Yes, that's I said it. I said it. I know people who will advocate for balance, but then they go and work 6 days in a row. I'm like, really balanced, right? Really balanced. I'm just kidding. All right. I'm not kidding, but I'm kidding. You know what I mean. All right. Let's see. Sparkle says no one is listening. Let's see. Roxy says, list 5 things you did. 5 things that I did last week. Do you want me to list 5 things I did today? how about we do today? But I can do last. I don't even know what happened last week. Last week, I streamed just about every day. I released a video every day, and this is just for my channel, right? I did coaching calls for about 3 or 4 people. I had office hours in Discord. I set up the Discord. Let me see. What else did I do? I got my weight down, ready for competition. Let's go to on the job. So I led the so that was like for personal life, 5 things that I accomplished. Let's go for the job, right? Because if you guys want to play the game of pop quizzes, right? You know, I love competition, I love challenges. So on the job, I led our sprint planning. I deployed different softwares. I made sure that we got our sprint goal accomplished, and I made sure that we got just about all of our stories in the sprint completed. What else did I do? Oh, I also extracted our automation repository into its own spot, where we don't have to mess with our production code in order to update our test. I also found a way I started the process of outputting one of our testing abilities so that we can have more comprehensive and up-to-date testing instead of testing old stuff, right? So that I might have gave you 6. Do I get extra credit for the 6? Do I get? You asked. Like I told you. I've been doing this for 20 years. It might be a cultural shock that we have to say what we did, what we accomplished. Yes, we do. And look at that. I gave you personal and I gave you on the job. Personal and on the job. All right. How you like them apples?
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Let's see. No one's here. It says you definitely can buy time. Shout out to Mitch. Mr. Carr says this is really good. I have a performance review coming up. Raise in cash money is what I'm looking for. Get that money.
Money.
Get that money. Let's see. Roxy says blah, 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 blah. Says, am I in there, Ralph? In my comment? In my, Mitch, you know, but that, you don't have to be mentioned. You're at the top of the list as always, all right? Let me see. Rod Brown says, Ms. Freckles, when you get that raise, can I get $1? What? I was gonna say something. I was about to say something. Let me not say anything. Let's see. It's a question for Ralph, not tech related. It says, is you still competition gi or no gi? I compete in the gi. I have the last time I did a no gi class was in February of 2024. I am not a no gi person. I can do no gi if I have to, but I am not a no gi person. But competition is in the gi coming up in at PANS between March 22nd to March 26th. I'll be competing one of those days in the gi. Right? I don't do no gi. I can, but all right. I'll tell you why. I don't do no gi. The way I have an addictive personality, right? So when I started doing jiu-jitsu and I went and I got a bunch of instructionals and I really, really studied it, right? And so that I could learn quickly. For me to do so the thing with no-gi is there weren't enough no-gi classes and I wanted to master the gi. And I know if I was to go to no-gi, I would end up spending a bunch of money, a bunch of time that I don't have to master. So I was like, I'm just going to stick to the gi, right? So Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. Thank you for that question. I love jiu-jitsu questions. I love jiu-jitsu questions. It says Rod for the nourishing word. Absolutely. No, it is. See, he didn't say that, Mr. Eccles. He did not say it's for the nourishing word. He said it's for him. So the question is, would you give Rod Bread $1? Not the nourishing word, all right? And Rod says, you're the real MVP. Mr. Eccles is the real MVP. Let me check something real quick. Let's see. All right, cool. I just checking something. All right. So we are ready to get to. It looks like if I don't yap for too long, we might get out of here early. Ms. Vega says, I'll call it part of my tithes, but I don't give away money. Very, very smart. Very, very smart, Ms. Freckles. Do not give away money. Do not, I repeat, do not give away money.
What's this? Oh, it's only money.
What? Uh-oh. I'm afraid to. Thank you so much, Roxy. You are very, very much appreciated. And Roxy, there's no words. It's just pure love. It is just pure love. Thank you so much, Roxy. I truly, truly appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
And you guys know Roxy is a very, very dear friend of mine. So I'm just messing with her, right? I'm just messing with her. You guys know. This is Rock the Scrubs Roxy we're talking about, right? But I really, really appreciate it. You know. All right. Let me stop getting all sentimental. And Magnusar says, I didn't miss the whole session, did I? What? I thought you were here since yesterday, Magnetar. I thought you were here since yesterday. I was sure you were watching this whole time. I thought you were here since yesterday. Let's see. Mitch says, Roxy, can I get $1? Now everybody wants $1. Now you see, look what you started, Rod Brown. Let's see. All right. Let's get to our last two questions of the night. Let's get to it. All righty.
Another one.
I think that I deserve better. What? You deserve what? You deserve better. All right, let's see what this has to say. So, am I crazy to believe that I deserve better? Don't call me crazy. All right, I'm just going to say, don't call me crazy. It says, I admit I had a really hard time coming up with a title without sounding entitled. Well, too late for that. And I am not entitled, and I am not an entitled person. I hope it makes more sense after reading this. And apologies. All right. It says, I graduated with a degree in software engineering back in 2013. Oh, congratulations. I have been with my company since 2014. Okay, this is about 11 years. When I started, there was no QA at this company, only a couple of developers who pushed from the testing environment straight to production under a waterfall development cycle. I had to not only build up the QA department, but I had to prove that QA was not only viable, but integral. Since being at the company, I've had a release environment set up to test packages, created multiple proof of concepts of different automation frameworks for future iteration of our enterprise software, created an automated testing suite using Selenium to complete smoke testing as well as regular ad hoc requests, creating bulk claims within our system, ran usability tests, black box testing, and white box testing, technical documentation review for our director, develop tickets within sprints as a developer, as well as help other developers understand and implement their enhancements, and a lot more over the last 11 years. Now for the benefits. And this is where I'm having moral moral trouble because I grew up with the ideals that loyalty pays off. This is what happens when you grow up with the wrong ideals, right? I'm just saying. And I do really love my team, and they're not the problem. It's corporate. I started at $45,000 back in 2014 as a QA analyst. Well, it's more than I started off when I started off at QA. They did a title change to QA engineer after evaluating what I'm actually doing. But since then, I have received only a single promotion to QA engineer 2 and 3 raises up to $59,000. One which was required because I was below minimum wage for a salaried person.
Bruh.
Where I'm currently at. I had the largest PTO package before they changed it to unlimited PTO for all, which I felt really undermined everyone who has seniority and time in the company, especially by not paying out the time they've built up. They just let it disappear. Last year, when they gave raises, I told my manager that everyone over 100K did not receive a raise. Last year, when they gave raises, I was told by my manager that everyone over 100K did not receive a raise, and you're the only one getting a raise, which ended up being 5%. But part of that 5% was a stipend toward my internet bill since I work from home. Well, at least you work from home. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is that the one that Chris Parks works at? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I'm earning lower than 10% wage for my role. So are you earning 59K or not? I'm asking here because I'd like to hear other thoughts within the industry rather than just anybody. I know others, especially those who have changed position a few times, would definitely have a better idea than I do about where I should be rather than where I am, and if what I'm thinking is crazy and entitled or founded. All right, so that's a pretty good question. Let me start our clock. All right, so here's the deal. If you're asking the question of, do I deserve better? The answer is no, you don't deserve better. Why do I say that? So the only reason I say that is because you have to ask the question, do I deserve? And I don't believe anybody deserves anything. Nobody deserves anything. All right? What I do say is, did you earn more? And I would say absolutely you earn a lot more money. You should be making a lot more money. However, guess who I blame for that? Guess who I blame for you not earning more money? Do I blame the corporate company? Do I blame your loyalty to the company? Do I blame any of that? Absolutely not. I blame you. Why do I blame you? Because you have stuck with this company for over 11 years. And did you ever do any research to see, okay, what you look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics? Great. Congratulations, right? But did you ever look at other job not applications, but job postings to see, did you ever look at Glassdoor to see, okay, like for the work that I'm doing that you listed out a lot of work. Like what you listed out is kind of like the work of a lead, maybe of a director, not a director, of a QA manager maybe, but you're doing all this stuff and you're not getting compensated for it whatsoever. And do you deserve to be compensated for it? No, because if you are deciding to work for, I'm gonna say you're working for free, right? You're getting paid, but you're getting paid just about nothing for the work you're doing. If you decide to work for free, then that is a decision that you have made to work for free. All right? It's your choice. Now, if you ask the company for a raise and they tell you,
do not come,
well, then it's up to you to go and look elsewhere. And then when they say, oh, well, because here's what's going to happen, right? Here's what's going to happen. When you actually go somewhere else to, like, once you get an offer making double what you're making now, they're gonna be shocked and appalled. They're gonna tell you,
How dare you?
how dare you leave this company, right? That's how it goes, right? And they're gonna say, oh, what can we do to have you to stay? We'll match the salary and all that type of stuff, right? But my idea behind this whole salary matching thing is, well, if you could have paid me that before, then why didn't you offer it to me before? Why did you not value me at the time when you were paying me half of what I was making? See, me, I don't believe people deserve anything. I believe you get what you negotiate. And if another company is offering you to run it up, then there goes your loyalty. There goes your loyalty. Simple as that. There is no loyalty in business because guess what? If the company fell on hard times, right? If the company fell on hard times, then you're out of there because they're not going to sacrifice the entire company just to be loyal to you, right? They're not going to do it. Therefore, ergo, the same way, why do so many people sacrifice their own lives for a company, right? I say, look, this is a mutual relationship. The same way that I'm an at-will employee, you are an at-will employer. Now, as long as we have a great relationship, then I am more than happy we're going to work it out, do all that good stuff, right? But things change. Relationships end. Sometimes it's been the company in the relationship with me. Sometimes I have had to end the relationship with that company. And there's no hard feelings. It's just business. It is just business. Simple as that, right? So I think that you have to put yourself first. Always put yourself first. And let the chips fall where they may. But you, based on what you described, you should be making just about double what you're making now. Because from what I read, it looks like you said you're making $59K. Let me double check that to make sure. But it looks like you're making $59K. Let me see. It says, I started at $45K back in 2014. They did a title change to QA engineer and after evaluating what I'm actually doing. But since then, I have received only a single promotion to QA engineer 2 and 3 raises up to $59K. One, which was required because I was below minimum wage for a salaried employee, where I am currently at. So you're at $59K and you lost all your PTO and they stole all of your PTO. Like the song says, sometimes you need to blow up that bridge. Apparently, they do not believe that you're adding value to the company. So, like I always say, and it's not me that says it, this is a well-known saying, but go where you are appreciated, not where you are tolerated. And apparently, you are below being tolerated at that company. So sometimes it is time to turn the page. Shout out to the Victory album. That's such a great album, right? It is in all streaming platforms. But you got to turn the page. You need to move on. You need to burn those bridges and do better for yourself. Because guess what? If you have a family, they're depending on you, right? You got to do better. Right? So that's my thoughts behind that. You got to let it go. You got to let it go. And let's just do the last question real quick. Then we'll check the chat as we wind down for the night. All right, let's get to the last question.
Another one.
Developers always breaking things? Is that normal? What? Is that normal? So let's get to this question. Is it normal for a developer to break something each time they add a new feature? I'm not a quality assurance engineer or analyst, but I'm a project manager or a product manager, one of the two, right? But we don't have a budget for QA, so de facto, I am the QA. Not having a budget for a QA is not having the budget for working software. That, like, understand this. If you do not have a budget for QA, you do not have budget for working software. I cannot put it any clearer than that. That's what that means. If you can't pay to test your applications, you cannot pay to have working software. Simple as that. All right. So the PM, either the product manager or the project manager, is the de facto QA.
Bruh.
I'm really bad at it because you're not a QA, right? And try to get a QA hired, but here we are. My developer breaks something each time he builds something. Is that typical? The answer is no.
Do not come.
All right. Do you have to retest the entire application just in case the dev breaks something, even for small, seemingly uncomplicated updates? Or are they just a bad developer? That is a great question.
Bruh.
Well, for a short answer, the answer is yes, they are a terrible developer. If a developer breaks something every single time, you know what that means? And this is what makes him a terrible developer. This is what makes him a terrible developer. If your developer breaks something every single time that a new feature is being added or fixed or updated, that means that they do not have any unit tests. See, me, I rate the developer based on the unit tests. Number one, do they have unit tests? Number two, what is the quality of their unit tests? What is the coverage of their unit tests? Is it actually catching stuff? And I have seen plenty of unit tests catch issues, and that the developers, before they even get to QA, they fix it, right? So if you do not have a QA person and your developers are not writing unit tests, guess what? You have no software.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Simple as that. You have no software. If you don't have any testing, and if you don't have any type of testing, right? So this is the wild west of development. Your developer just writes anything and says, here it is, it's done. And then you have to go through the whole entire application, because guess what? If you don't have just a QA person, you don't have any automation tests to retest or to do a regression test of the whole application that your developer keeps breaking over and over and over again. And you probably can't even catch it because you don't know what you're looking for. So it is a lose-lose situation at the end of the day. And I even set a timer. So once I'm done with this question, then we'll start to wrap it up, right? But it is a lose-lose situation at the end of the day. Like I said earlier, if you cannot afford a QA person, then you cannot afford to have working software. That is critical to you because, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what to look for. So you're just going to look at you're just going to test what the developer told you to test. And then you're still going to find issues that, oh my God, it's so bad. This is so bad. And as a project manager or a product manager, I understand your frustration and I understand that you're really bad at it, because guess what? I am really bad at being a project manager or a product owner or product manager as well, because that is not my role, right? I don't want to make the suggestion to you, but I will for your sanity, right? I would say go on Udemy, get a QA course so that if you have to continue in this role, at least you can have some idea of what you're looking for. But even bigger, ask your developer the daunting question. How many unit tests did you write? How many unit tests did you write? And the answer will be 0. No. I take it back. The answer will not be 0. The answer will be, DB Darrow, what do you think the answer is going to be? What do you think the answer is going to be when the PM asks when the PM asks how many unit tests did you write? I'm going to wait because I want to know what DB Darrow is going to say. Anybody else can answer too, but I want to know, what do you think the developer is going to say when the project manager or the product manager asks, how many unit tests did you write to cover this? I'm curious. DB Darrow says none. DB Darrow says none. I didn't write any unit tests. I disagree with your answer, DB Darrow. I disagree with your answer. The answer that the developer is going to say is, what are unit tests? What are unit tests? That's what I see. That's the answer that I see. They're going to say, what are unit tests? That's what the answer is going to be. Like, what are, I don't know what these unit tests that you speak of. What is this? What is this? Right? So that's the issue. That's the issue. I think that you need to continue to advocate for QA. You might want to take a QA course if you're the only person who can do it right now, but you can quote me on this. You can quote me on this. If you do not have a budget for QA, you do not have a budget for working software. And that's it. All right. Let me wrap that question up, and then I'm going to check the chat. Well, before I check the chat, DB Darrow says, technically the same thing. Exactly. And Rob Brown says, is this a broken product post-launch? What it sounds like to me is that it is not a broken product post-launch. The developer, it might have been at some point, right? But the developer does the updates, does the changes, and then during UAT, the product manager or the project manager goes to do some testing and finds everything is broken. Are you asking, right, Brian? Are you asking this because you're worried that it's your project It is not your project manager who wrote this, all right? I double checked. I said, you're not Rod Brown's project manager, right? I said, no, I'm not Rod Brown's manager. He is an amazing developer. So we never had this problem with him. He writes every single unit test, and we don't have to worry about him writing his unit test, right? So I know that it's not you, Rod Brown. So you don't have to worry. It's not your project manager who wrote that, okay? Uh-oh. We have a call coming in. Let's it's Rod Brown calling. Let's wrap this question up so that we can get to the call. All right. Let's do this real quick. We're gonna go here. And we're gonna go to full screen. And I am going to answer my friend, the nourishing word Rod Brown. All right. Let me see. So I got Rod Brown in the back. Hold on. Let me bring him up. Let me go to our shared, to our other screen with, let me see, where is it? What's up, Rob Brown? You hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. Let me bring you up on screen. I just got to find where is that screen? I have too many windows over here. There we go. This one. There we go. Look at that. We got Rod Brown in the building. What's up, Rod Brown? How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing amazing, if I must say so myself.
All right, so we got to talk about that last question, man, because you started to poke the bear on developers. All right,
what I do?
Poke the bear on developers because how are we supposed to know? All right, okay. So let me ask you this question. And I know that we're probably a little bit different because I know some things from a QA perspective and you know some things from a developer perspective. But from that question, do you expect a developer to always know what a QA tester does?
No.
So therefore, so that's why I asked, if the product launched broken, then there's a problem. But if it's in dev or even if it's in staging, I mean, you're going to break a couple of eggs. I mean, I break some things here and there, like
not every
depending
time,
on them. Not every time, but I'm trying to cut some slack because I got to be on the developer side. I gotta be on our side. I ride for my developers. But I do think that it is a necessary thing to know what QA and project managers, or especially what project managers do, but also at the same time, sometimes developers, they have blinders on. It's kind of like, here's your thing, do your stuff, and then kick it out. So I have to say, I can kind of see why if I was on this person's team, I would be annoyed with this developer, but then again, I can kind of see the other side of it because certain developers have blinders on.
They gotta get better. Straight up, they gotta
I
get
don't
better.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
So they should.
I don't agree.
So they should stay making like a bunch of silly mistakes.
I'm not saying that they should stay making
'Cause they gotta
silly
get better.
mistakes. I would no, but I would say that all of this should be done within QA, also within
But they don't
dev.
have QA.
See, then there's
It's
the
the-
problem.
it's the- so there's multiple issues, right?
Mhm.
Them not being able to afford QA and making a project manager do UAT testing only, you're gonna
Mhm.
miss a lot of stuff, right? But the other problem is that there is not if you don't have QA, right, then
Mhm.
there should be a lot of this stuff can be caught within unit testing. How many
Sure.
unit tests do you have, Rod Brown? Put him
Depends
the
on the
spot. You don't
project.
you don't have to answer that. I'm just
No. I'm just saying it depends on the project. It really does depend on the project.
Of course. But it's like you need to all right. If you don't have QA, right, I think then that it goes above your responsibility as just a developer,
Mhm.
because then to just have you cannot have blinders on if you don't have a QA team or a QA
No,
person,
you can't.
right?
If you don't have a QA person, then that falls on the project manager. Like I have a wonderful QA person, so I'm living a good life. But I've been on teams without QAs, and all that falls on the project manager.
But that's like, I mean, if you guys are okay with having bad software, then I think that's fine. What's so funny? What's so funny? Did I say something wrong?
No, I'm just saying there's a certain perspective from a developer. There's a certain perspective on how developer looks at things versus how
I agree.
QA people look at things.
But if the QA person doesn't exist, then the developer has to at least go out of their comfort zone just a little bit to have that additional mindset.
No, they don't.
Well, then your project's gonna suck.
Well,
I'm just like, it's just how it is. Like, okay, so help me out here, right? So
Okay.
let's say you have, all right. So what if, okay, because the developer is not QA, right?
Mhm.
And the product manager or project manager is also not QA, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So if the project manager misses something that is like important, right? Is it the project manager's fault that they missed it, or is it the developer's fault that they built it poorly?
Who's the overall lead of the overall project? Especially when it comes down to hitting certain sprints and hitting certain milestones.
The person who would be responsible for the project would be the project manager, yeah?
So for what you're saying right there, ultimately the onus and again, I ride for my developers, but the onus would fall on a project manager if they don't have a QA person. Yes, should a developer have some type of thought process have some type of QA thought process? Yes, but majority of the times on these teams who are running lean and they don't have any QA or they don't have the extra bells and whistles, a lot of them are just, they're just doing what they're doing and then getting it out and then pushing it through.
Then you're writing bad code.
Well,
Like,
I can't speak for bad code. I mean,
I
don't have that problem.
if you don't have some type of mechanism in place to because there's gonna be bugs regardless, right? Like because even with QA, you're gonna have bugs, right?
Absolutely.
But if you don't have a way to catch major bugs, and now you're relying on somebody who didn't even, because a lot of people who go into QA, right? What was their major in college?
Majority of them are computer science.
Okay, so what about a project manager? What is their degree in?
Not even that. Their degree might have been in English or something.
It could be English. It could be like
Right.
information, like not what is it? System management. Like it could be different stuff, right? But it's not a coding type thing. It's not
Right.
computer science. So that means that you're relying on somebody who might have not even had a technical education to catch all these little defects and stuff like that, or major defects and stuff like that, because they're the project owner. But you're asking them to do something that they don't know how to do, and it's not their job to do.
That's true.
I see that the responsibility for quality of the software would be more aligned with the developer than the project manager.
Okay. Well, from a developer standpoint, I will agree that there is a certain level of quality that we're going to have when it comes down. So when we're developing, of course, like I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for anybody else who develop or writes code. If you write bad code, you write bad code. But I would just say for one of the projects that I was on, we were creating for my particular area, we were creating a physician finder from scratch. And now, for those who don't know, creating a physician finder, if you're having multiple APIs run into this particular software, and you're having multiple data points from call centers and physician information and over here and over there, it can be a lot. So from a developer standpoint, at least for me, you're going to have a certain level of, like, this is your baby, right? Like, because, oh my God, you're writing this code from scratch, and you just want to make sure that it has a certain level of finesse to it when to make sure it works. There's going to be errors for sure, because you have multiple data points coming in from multiple areas, so you can't account for every single thing on the first time or the second time. You'll probably get it on the third or fourth, but there is a certain level, but not to the level that a QA person will look at it differently. Like somebody on the outside who's not right there physically writing the code, they're going to look at it differently versus a developer, because the developer is going to have blinders looking at it in their particular way, because that's their particular thing that they're growing from the ground up.
I agree 100%. I totally agree with you.
Mhm.
But I can't put but I also can't put the onus on the project manager who doesn't know anything about, like, so many, like a lot of project managers, they're not technical at all. So you're asking them to do almost something that's impossible to do. And the thing is with this question is that the problem with this question is that they continue to find an issue every time this developer pushes out a new feature, which to me that's a huge problem. That's a huge red flag.
Yeah, like I said, I think we can both agree to disagree, because
here's one more
okay,
question.
go ahead.
Here's one more question.
All right.
So after you implement a feature, right? Do you dev test it? Like, do you actually use the application to see if what you built works?
Our internal team, yes, we dev test it
No, I'm
before
saying,
we
do
actually.
you do that?
No, I do it. Our internal team, I can only speak for my experience. I dev test it before I send it off to our QA team in order for them to do what they need to do. And I will say, in that experience, the QA team is going to find different things that I might have overlooked.
Every time?
Majority of the time, yes, they do. They have a different, I'm just saying, like, QA testers have a different way of looking at things versus developers.
I'll say this then. I will say that now I'm going to put some onus on the QA team and the way that you guys work, right? Because what I would do, right? I would say, all right, so we're going to be implementing this feature, right? I'm going to start talking to you guys before you even start developing to see, okay, this is what is that this feature is looking to do? What are we looking to get out of it, right? And I would say, so that way you already know what I'm going to start looking for, so you can start actually getting that taken care of before I even get it, so that it reduces the chances of finding issues. Because every time there's an issue that's found, that costs money. And the earlier we can find it, the better, because it's cheaper that way. But if I can prevent you from creating a defect in the first place that we have to go back and forth on, now you have to go back and update the code, redeploy it, I have to go and test it again. If I can prevent that from happening, then we're working faster, we're being more efficient, and we're saving money, right? So that's why I'm like, being that you have that team, I don't think that every single time that you guys push out new features, new code, that they should be finding an issue. There's a communication disconnect that's happening where you guys can patch that up and be more efficient that way.
Okay. Define the level of issue, though. Like, are we talking about intermediate, or are we talking about high level?
Well, you know, it's that they always find an issue, so I was just going off based off what you said.
Okay, I mean, I would just say that from my experience, maybe some of the issues might be like a low risk issue, but it's just like, oh, you forgot to overlook this, or one of my team members forgot to, do that particular thing, and then we would have to correct a particular issue. But like medium to high level issues, like where
That's the
it's
one
like in the
because
yellow or it's a red, then yeah, that's a problem. That's a
yeah,
problem.
what I took from this question was these were higher. They didn't
Okay.
say it in particular, but I think it was higher level issues where
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
because
It up, B.
I don't. It's hard for me to see a project manager like catching in on all these tiny little issues that a QA might nitpick on, right? So that's why I take it as like, and if you're going to be complaining about every time about retesting and stuff like that, then that seems like it's higher level functional issues that's the problem.
That's true. That's true. Now I feel like we're pretty much saying the same thing, but just in different ways. Like, but
Oh
if
yeah,
it's a yellow to high risk to the point that we have you have your weekly sprint call, your for our particular area, we have sprint, we have daily sprints or daily stand-ups, but then also we have our weekly you know congregational call where we talk about certain things and what level is it at. And if your project is currently at a yellow to red high risk and you always have impediments, then yeah, then you look bad. You're gonna look bad. So
yep. That's basically what I'm
mhm.
saying.
Yeah.
Want to read the chat with me because I think Mitch is actually agreeing with you, so I know you're gonna want to read that one.
Um, today must be my lucky day if Mitch agrees with me. So.
All right, let's wrap it up with these. Let me see. Where are we starting from? DB Darrow says unit test. Ain't nobody got time for that. I was actually on a project one time where the project kind of like the project manager. He was like, "Oh, we just write unit tests later." I'm like, "Okay." They wanted to go fast, right? They wanted to go fast.
They sure did.
Let's see. So you got a shout out. It says the nourishing word. Check it out if you haven't already. I agree 100%.
Thank you, Roxy.
Let's see where else. Says DB says Ralph ain't going for the excuses. Mitch says, "Get this guy off of here." All right, bye. I'll leave.
All right.
Oh, he's
So,
talking about you.
oh no, this is your show. This is not mine.
Let's see. He says, "Is it?" So Mr. says, "Is it because they don't have the budget for it?" Look, like I said, if you don't have budget for QA, you do not have budget for working software. That's all I gotta say. Because Rod Brown says that we look at the code, we don't really test the code. We have blinders on. We have blinders on.
But there are certain teams that don't have QA testers.
And their project probably sucks. Just saying.
I'm neither here nor there. I'm not going to reply to that.
All right. What I say, the words that I say are not applicable to Rod Brown and the nourishing word. All right. He is here as a guest. All right. Ms. Rego says, there's no quality control and barely any QA where I work at. It feels like at any moment the lid could blow and there's way too much money at risk with it. And Mr. Freckles also says, I agree with you for sure but it seems like the money gets sucked from the top and us processors are stuck figuring things out with janky software. Well, guess what? The bright side is there's a good part and there's a bad part, right? The good part is that it's the company who's going to be losing on that. The bad part is you'll probably lose your job in the process of the company losing all that money. So
That's a possibility.
it's a possibility. Mitch says, fight Ralph versus Rod Brown. I'll be the special guest referee. Let's go. Can I use a chair though? Can I use a chair, Mitch? Is that allowed for me to use a chair? Just making sure.
No, I'm thinking like No
No,
chair.
okay, no chair. All right,
No,
fair enough,
no chair,
fair
no
enough, fair
chair.
enough. Mitch says Rod Brown is actually right though.
Bruh.
Well, it's come to this, right? Mitch is no longer my best friend. He is now Rod Brown's best friend. You can have him, Rod Brown. He's all yours, right? He's all yours.
I told you we're friends. Like, hey man, we
says-
Kobe and Shaq, man.
I hate agreeing with Rod Brown.
Bruh.
Nobody said you had to. Nobody said you had to. All right. It says get him, and Magnus says I'll take the blame. It says psych. No. Let's see. It says Magnetar, who your money on. It pains me to say Rod Brown. I have Rod Brown in a chokehold right now, right? He can't breathe. Just tap out, Rod Brown. Rod Brown, tap out. Says Mitch, I honestly don't know. All this DevOps stuff is new to me. Oh my goodness. Let's see. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It says Rod Brown. Don't be scared. Stand by what you say. Don't be scared.
I'm not scared at all. But again, I'm always going to ride for my developers because, I am a developer. I'm amongst that team. I know what we do right and I know what we do wrong, but, it's not always a developer's problem.
See me, I have no loyalty, right? I will call I'll call out the developer. I'll call out the QA. If you are slacking,
Do not come.
I'm just saying. In the words of my favorite runner-up, all right? It's not. I blame the company. And
It's the company's fault. They should have hired who they needed to hire.
They should have, but I also say that you cannot be pushing out major defects every time you deploy software. That's all I'm saying.
Depends on the level of defect. That's all I'm saying.
I said major.
Okay, major. Okay. Right.
If you have like a little typo on the privacy and policy page all the way at the end, like you miss a period, I'm like, all right, whatever. We can push that up on the next one. Push that up on the next deploy. But if I go, I'll tell you this, right? I'll give you an example of something that used to happen to me. So I'd click on login, right, and the page would be blank because there was a React error.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
No, it's not acceptable.
Thank you. That's the point.
But you are the QA specialist. You're talking about a team that doesn't have it.
I know, but I should not find that issue.
But things happen.
I know. Things happen incorrectly. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay. I'm sorry, Robert. I cannot let you stand on things happen. I can't get to like the major functionality. I can't get to the login page.
I'm gonna stand on the developer square for my fellow developers because I know the things that we go through. So.
But do you see how I was able to call out your QA people saying, hey, they should work with you from the beginning so that you guys can avoid. You should do the same.
They work with me. I love my QA developer. I love them.
I didn't say
they
you
love
did.
me.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Anyways, you guys go subscribe to The Nourishing Word. He does amazing work over there. I check it every day just to see if there's something new that comes out. Although I get notifications, right? Make sure you click the notification button when you go subscribe to The Nourishing Word. But I still check. I just see you just released another one about 70 Christians got, all right. I'm not going to read it because that's kind of graphic.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go check that out. But yeah, any last words, Rod Brown, about, other than you being wrong, but any last words?
To all my fellow developers, do not be afraid. We do great work. We get things done. Do not let other people on your team, especially QA developers and QA specialists, bully you. Okay. Keep fighting the good fight. That's all I can say.
Sounds good to me. Let's read these last remaining comments, then we're gonna get out of here. Let's see. Mitch says, and I agree, some teams do use PMs incorrectly. And DB says, Ralph with the reversal, make him tap.
I mean, you are a jujitsu specialist, and I box. So I mean, listen, you got me sometimes. I'll take that.
Mitch says that Ralph is evil. That's a fact. That is a fact. I am evil. Yes. I'm also very, very annoying, and I'm very, very persistent. Right. So Rod Brown knows how annoying and persistent that I am.
Yep.
Roxy also knows how annoying and persistent that I am. Jacqueline says, "Can you repeat Rod's channel? It is the nourishing word with." You know what? I'm gonna just drop it in the chat. Give me a second. But it's the nourishing word with Rod Brown. Rod with one D, not two Ds. All right. It used to be two Ds a while ago, but it's just one D now. All right.
Thank you.
I'm gonna drop it in the chat as well. Let me help out.
And Magnetar, you're right. I probably would do greater work in the federal government, but things of lately, I'm going to stay away from the federal government right now. Okay, you can have it right now. All right.
Rod Brown, do you want to go through the exercise that our federal brothers and sisters are going through about list 5 things you've accomplished in the last week?
I would like to not do that at all. I'm saying that with the straightest face. I would like to not do that.
Did you say Roxy tried to call me out?
I do 2 to 3 stand-ups a week talking about the things that I've done since the last stand-up and what I'm going to be accomplishing before the next stand-up and what impediments. I don't have time to do that now. All right, I don't.
We do it every day, right? We do it every day.
We do it every single day. So I will not. Right?
Every day we get the question, so what'd you say you do here? And we have to answer it every single day.
You got to do things. Probably, maybe like one of them is probably like your most important project because you're so hyper focused on it. And then you got to add 4 to 5 other things that's probably fillers that you probably have not even started on, but you got to say something, right? Yeah, but
you make 1% progress daily. That's all.
That's true. That's true.
There you go. All right. That's it. Well, thank you, Rod Brown. I appreciate you being wrong. I'm just messing with you.
And listen, I appreciate you explaining your aspect, and I appreciate you for being 1,000% wrong as well too. Listen, I mean, it's just sometimes you have to learn how to concede. You know. No.
My pleasure, Rod Brown. And one last message for you, Rod Brown.
I appreciate
you, Rod Brown. Always. All right.
No
well, I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna wrap up the show because I got things to do. Let me. How do I get out of here? Cool. All right, Rod Brown.
I'll take care. Yep.
And that was Rod Brown with the nourishing word. But we're gonna wrap it up. We are going to wrap it up. Let me check the chat one last time before we get up and out of here. All right. Let's see. Magnetar says you would do greater work in the federal government. I don't know, Magnetar. I see you guys are like hyperventilating over having to say what you've accomplished. I've been doing it every day for the past 20 years of my life. So, and I said earlier before you got here, I said, as soon as my son can write, he's going to be sending me an email of the 5 things he accomplished in the past week every single week. All right. You know what? I'm gonna tweet Doge and say, hey, can you guys make this happen every week instead of just this one time, one and done? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Roxy, don't. Roxy, I'm just kidding, Roxy. It's just a little jokey. It's just a little jokey joke. All right. Mitch says, Ralph today. Mitch, I know you mean that with love, all right? I know you mean that with love. DBR says, that's what you did last week email. Everybody shook. I said, that's what you did last week. Email. Everybody shook. It did get everybody shook. Let's see. Mr. says, thank you. That's a mirror to Rod Brown. Either way, Mr. you are very, very welcome. Let's see. Good night, Jacqueline. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Look out for my email. I'm going to try to get it out for you tonight. Let's see. It says, Ralph, you're sensitive to I'm wearing you down. Aww. And Roxy says, the box for you. I'm sorry, Roxy. I apologize. And Mr. says, I'm going to implement that for my little one. Let's see. And Mitch says, shots fired. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Believe in us.
What's this? Oh, it's only money.
Oh my goodness. We got Magnetar in the building. Magnetar says that Elon does not run the Department of Defense. You are right, Magnetar. You are right. But you know what? Even more importantly, Magnetar, I appreciate you so much for that $5 super chat.
I appreciate you.
You are awesome. And Magnetar is my guy. I really appreciate you, Magnetar. And everything is all jokes. Continue learning your Python. Continue with the ethical hacking. You have a very, very bright future, my guy, Magnetar. All right. Let's see. Anything else before we get out of here? Let's see. That is it. You guys go over to the Nourishing Word and to Tech Music to see the.
What's this? Oh my it's only money.
Oh my goodness, we got my guy Rod Brown. See, now I almost feel bad for saying that he was wrong. I'm just saying I almost feel bad, but I don't. But thank you so much, Rod Brown. You are truly appreciated. You are my guy through and through. I met Rod Brown in real life, so that's one of the reasons that I've done business with Rod Brown. That's why I appreciate him so much. He is a very, very cool stand-up guy. Right? I'm trying to wrap up the show. It says, Rod Brown, when Ralph was talking, all I could think about Stone Cold. What? What? That is hilarious. I don't have my Stone Cold sounds anymore. It's all good. But yeah, that is it for tonight. I have a question for you guys, though. Did you guys have fun? Did you guys have fun? Did you guys learn a lot? Did you guys have fun?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I appreciate all of you guys. Rod Brown for calling in. Magnetar for the super chat. Roxy for the super chat. Rod Brown for the super chat. And Miss Freckles, Mitch, Me Mysify, Jacqueline, and everybody else who was in here. I really, really appreciate you all. You guys are my people. But I gotta go. You guys know that yesterday's price is not today's price, and today's price is not tomorrow's price because...
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is always going up. But with that being said, this is Tech Coach Ralph. We are out.
They said I wouldn't make it, they laughed at my dream. Every move I made felt like swimming upstream. But yesterday I met a fan, eyes full of belief. In their gaze I saw the end to my grief.
Doubt didn't win, trust began. Looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heartbeats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I saw myself alive. I put in all the hours, climbed out from the dirt. They dissed and dismissed, said I'd always get hurt. Met a fan so loyal, reflections don't lie. My biggest supporter is just me in my mind.
Through the noise and shadows I held my ground. Bumps, bruises, broken, no comfort found. But that fan smile turned my world around. Now I'm rising sky high above the sound.
Doubt didn't win and trust I began. When I looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heartbeats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game. Cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game. 'Cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.